You wake slowly. The low hum of the ship is like a forgotten lullaby, pulsing somewhere beyond your understanding. The darkness outside isn't quite black, it's a deep purple, flecked with sparks that might be stars or just your eyes playing tricks. You're floating, not literally, but in that hazy space between sleep and waking, where the universe seems to hold its breath with you. Settle in comfortably as we explore the silence of the cosmos. Your fingers brush the control panel. It's cold, like a coffee mug left on an empty cafe table. The screen flickers, showing numbers that mean nothing, coordinates to nowhere. You're in the Cold Nebula, a name that sounds like something a drunk poet scribbled on a lonely night. Nobody mapped this place. Nobody comes here. Yet here you are, a space tourist lost in a haze that feels alive. You glance out the window. The nebula ripples like velvet curtains in a breeze that doesn't exist. It's like watching an ocean in slow motion, each wave frozen in sapphire and amethyst. Or maybe it's like steam rising from a hot soup, forgotten on an old stove. Or even, perhaps, like the blur of a memory you swear you never lived. The mist shifts, and for a moment you feel it staring back. You check the sensors. Nothing. Not a signal. Not an echo. Just the soft hiss of the radio, like the universe whispering secrets it doesn't want you to understand. Great, you think, with a wry smile. Stuck in the middle of nowhere, and my only company is a cloud that doesn't know how to chat. It's almost funny, isn't it? Like the cosmos decided you needed a forced vacation. Or maybe the ship picked this spot because it knew you couldn't handle another virtual meeting. You stand, your feet barely touching the metal floor. The artificial gravity is weak, as if the ship is as tired as you are. There's a crumpled note in the corner of the panel, scrawled in shaky handwriting. Don't trust the mist. Who wrote it? You. You don't remember. The ink looks rushed, like someone was scared or in a hurry. You tuck it in your pocket. Throwing it away feels like tempting fate. And you're already in deep enough. In the 17th century, cartographers drew dragons on the edges of maps, warning of uncharted dangers. The Cold Nebula is your dragon, except it's made of stardust instead of scales, and it whispers instead of roars. You've heard of an old Venusian tradition. They believed the planet's gas clouds held the memories of lost travelers. If you listened closely, they said, you could hear their regrets. Scholars still debate whether those tales were metaphors or something more literal. Here, in the Cold Nebula, you're starting to wonder. You try the radio again. Hello? Anyone? Out there? Silence. Of course. The universe never replies on time. It's like texting a friend who reads your message but doesn't respond for a week. You chuckle, because what else is there to do? The mist outside pulses, as if it's laughing with you, or at you. Hard to tell. Like, subscribe, and drop a comment. What corner of the galaxy or planet are you floating in right now? Let's settle in for this tranquil journey through the stars. You step back from the panel, your eyes still caught on the mist outside. It swirls slowly, like smoke drifting from a chimney in a distant winter. Or maybe it's like the steam curling off a cup of tea you left to cool while lost in thought. Or even, perhaps like the soft glow of an old screen, flickering in a dark room. The Cold Nebula isn't just a place, it's a mood, an invitation to lose yourself, for find yourself. If you believe in that sort of thing, you wander to the ship's tiny kitchen. There's a chipped mug on the counter, a coffee stain dried at the bottom. You don't remember the last time you drank anything. The fridge hums softly, like a cat purring in a far-off dream. You open it, find a can of synthetic soup, and decide you're not hungry. It's not hunger you feel. It's something emptier, harder to name. You return to the window. The mist seems thicker now, as if it's creeping closer, though the ship hasn't moved. Or has it? The sensors are silent, but you don't trust them. They're like those cheap clocks that stop working when you need them most. Reliable ship, they said. You mutter, with a dry laugh. Safe journey, they said. And now here you are, chatting with a cloud that won't talk back. You spot an old logbook on a shelf. Its pages yellowed, like they've been thumbed through 1,000 times. You open it to a random page. Day 47. The mist speaks, but doesn't listen. The words stop you cold. It's the same shaky handwriting as the note. You flip forward, but the rest is blank, as if the writer gave up, or something stopped. In the 19th century, sailors reported strange lights on the horizon, called St. Elmo's fire. They thought they were signs of protection or omens of doom. The Cold Nebula has its own lights, tiny pulses of glow dancing in the mist. You wonder if they're an invitation or a warning. Scholars still debate whether St. Elmo's fire was just static electricity or something more supernatural. Here, you're not sure you want the answer. You've heard of the cults on Titan. They worshipped methane storms, believing the winds carried messages from the gods. One odd sect tossed offerings into the tempests, hoping the winds would return answers. No one knows if it worked, but their shipwrecks still drift out there. Maybe the Cold Nebula is like that, a place that swallows questions and spits out riddles. You sink into the pilot's seat, the worn leather creaking under your weight. The mist outside seems to form faces, or are you imagining it? It's like staring at clouds on a lazy Earth day, except here there are no birds, no breeze, just the void. You press a button, and an old song plays something about stars and lost lovers. Perfect, you think, rolling your eyes. The universe has a sense of humor, but the music is soft, and you let it play. Who's going to judge? Remember that note you found? You pull it out, smooth the creases. Don't trust the mist. You laugh, because, really, what else is there to do? The mist doesn't seem trustworthy, but it doesn't seem dangerous either, just curious, like a nosy neighbor who knows too much about you. You tuck it back in your pocket, feeling the silence's weight. Like, subscribe, and drop a comment. Where are you floating in the galaxy today? Let's slow down and drift together in this journey through the infinite void. Asterisk, you lean back in the pilot's chair, the creak of the leather sounding like a sigh from someone who's seen too much. The mist outside swirls, slow and deliberate, like smoke curling from a candle snuffed out too soon. It's like the soft glow of a street lamp through a foggy window, hazy but insistent. Or maybe it's like the steam rising from a kettle you forgot to turn off, drifting without purpose. Or even, perhaps, like the blur of an old film reel, flickering with images you can't quite place. The Cold Nebula feels like it's watching you, patient, as if it knows you're not going anywhere. You check the panel again. The sensors are still silent, stubborn as an old man who won't answer questions. Working perfectly, you mutter, with a dry chuckle. Just like everything else on this ship, the radio hisses, catching fragments of static that almost sound like words. You tilt your head, straining to hear, but it's like eavesdropping through a thin wall. You catch the tone, not the meaning. Maybe the mist is talking, or maybe you're just inventing stories to fill the quiet. You find a drawer under the panel, half stuck, like it's guarding a secret. Inside, there's a pocket watch, its face cracked, the hands frozen at 3:47. It's not yours, but it feels familiar, like a dream you forgot upon waking. You hold it, the metal cold against your skin. In the 18th century, sailors used to navigate the seas, measuring time to avoid getting lost. Here, time feels like a joke nobody bothers to explain. Scholars still debate whether time in nebulas follows the same rules as the rest of the universe. Some say it bends, like light in a black hole. You've heard of the rites on Mars. Early colonists left personal items in the red dunes, believing it tied them to the planet. One left a watch, hoping the desert would return answers. They never found it, but they say the dunes still whisper. You slip the watch into your pocket, next to the note. Don't trust the mist. You're starting to think the writer meant it. The mist outside forms patterns, or are you imagining it? Lines that look like maps, or maybe letters from an alphabet you never learned. It's like trying to read a book in a language that doesn't exist. You blink, and the patterns shift. Great, you think, with a wry smile. Now the mist is an artist, but you can't look away. There's something hypnotic about it, like watching rain slide down a window on a gray day. You try the navigation system again. The screen flashes invalid coordinates. You laugh, because, of course, why not? It's like asking for directions from someone who just points at the sky. Reliable tech, you murmur, shaking your head. The old song keeps playing, soft, about stars that never meet. You let it play. It's better than the silence, or so you tell yourself. That note you found, you feel it in your pocket, like a reminder of something you should know. The mist outside seems closer now, as if it's trying to slip inside. You wonder if you should close the curtains, if this ship even has curtains. Like, subscribe, and drop a comment. What corner of the cosmos are you floating in today? Let's slow down and drift together in this journey through the infinite void. You step away from the window, but the mist seems to follow. Or maybe it's just your imagination playing with the light. It ripples, slow, like the surface of a lake touched by a faint breeze, each wave catching flecks of starlight. It's like an oil painting that hasn't dried, colors blending in slow motion. Or maybe it's like the glow of a phone screen at night, when you're scrolling mindlessly, lost in thought. Or even, perhaps, like the steam curling from a pot left on the stove, carrying the scent of something you can't name. The Cold Nebula is persistent, like a thought that creeps back when you least expect it, asking to be noticed. You wander down the ship's narrow corridor. The overhead lights flicker, hesitant, as if they're not sure of their own job. You pass a shelf with an old book, its cover faded, the title unreadable. You pick it up, flip through it. The pages are filled with handwritten notes, scribbles about stars and routes that lead nowhere. One line catches your eye. The mist holds what you forget. It's the same shaky handwriting as the note. You pause, a chill running through unit fear, but something closer to curiosity, tinged with exhaustion. In the 15th century, Portuguese navigators used the stars to chart routes across the Atlantic, trusting the sky's constancy. Here, the stars are traitors, hidden by the mist like secrets kept by a distrustful friend. Scholars still debate whether early space explorers encountered nebulas like this, or if they only appeared after we started traveling too fast. You close the book, but the words linger. The mist holds what you forget. You've heard of the gypsies of Ganymede. They traveled in space caravans, carving poems into asteroids. One poem said cosmic dust was made of lost memories. No one knows if they believed it or just romanticized the void. You tuck the book away, but the idea sticks. Like a song you can't stop humming. You return to the cockpit. The radio hisses, again, now with a rhythm, like it's trying to mimic the music playing. Getting fancy. Huh, you mutter, with a half smile. The mist doesn't answer, but it swirls, as if mocking you back. You try the controls, but the ship stays still. Of course, you think, rolling your eyes. Why make things easy? The mist pulses, or maybe it's just your reflection in the window. That watch you found. You pull it out, spin it between your fingers. The hands don't move, but you swear you heard a tick for a second. The mist outside forms spirals, like smoke from an incense stick nobody lit. You feel it's waiting for something, but what? Like, subscribe, and drop a comment. Where are you drifting in the universe today? Let's settle in for this tranquil journey through the stars. Asterisk, you lean back against the cold cockpit wall, the metal chilling your spine like a silent scolding for being so lost. The mist outside swirls, deliberate, like dust dancing in a forgotten room, catching light in shades of cobalt and gray. It's like the glow of a computer screen at night, when you should be sleeping but can't stop staring. Or maybe it's like the reflection of distant lights on a frozen lake, shimmering with a cold you almost feel. Or even, perhaps, like the blur of an unfinished painting, shapes suggesting something you'll never fully grasp. The Cold Nebula isn't just scenery. It's a mood, wrapping around you like a thought you can't shake. You pull the pocket watch from your pocket, tracing the crack in its face, still stuck at 3:47. You hold it to your ear. hoping for a tick that never comes. Nothing, just the ship's low hum, steady as a distant engine's drone. You smirk, bitter. Perfect watch, you mutter. Just what I need in a place where time's on vacation. The mist pulses, as if chuckling at your sarcasm. Or maybe it's just bored, waiting for you to do something worth watching. You wander to a small table in the corner, where a cup of synthetic tea sits, untouched. Its surface oily under the flickering lights. You pick it up, but don't drink. It's more habit than thirst. In the 16th century, Dutch navigators carried tea on their voyages, believing it kept the spirit sharp. Here, in the void, tea is just a memory of a planet you barely recall. Scholars still debate whether early space explorers drank something similar, or if they just dreamed of home's taste. You've heard of the rituals on Io, Jupiter's volcanic moon. Its colonists burned sulfur in ceremonies, believing the flames linked them to the planet's spirits. They tossed the ashes into space, hoping for answers in return. No one knows if the ashes ever came back, but Io's volcanoes still roar. Indifferent, you wonder if the mist holds ashes like that, fragments of stories nobody remembers. You return to the panel. The screen flashes a partial star map, like a puzzle missing half its pieces. Top-notch navigation, you mutter, with a dry laugh. Next stop, nowhere. The radio hisses, catching a rhythm like a slow breath. You adjust the dial, but the sound fades, like a dream slipping away as you wake. The mist outside moves in sync, as if dancing with the static. That note in your pocket, you unfold it again. Don't trust the mist. The words feel heavier now, like a warning you're too stubborn to heed. The mist forms shapes, faces maybe, or just tricks of the light. It's like trying to read clouds in a sky that's never seen the sun. You wonder if the mist is speaking, or if you're just seeing what you want to see. Like, subscribe, and drop a comment. Where are you floating in the cosmos today? Let's slow down and drift together in this journey through the infinite void. ... You slide to the floor, back against the panel, the cold metal seeping through your clothes like a reminder of how far you are from anywhere warm. The mist outside is a quiet spectacle, swirling like smoke from a cigar stubbed out too soon, spreading in hues of violet and silver. It's like the glow of a campfire scene through a dense forest, warm but unreachable. Or maybe it's like the steam rising from a coffee cup you forgot to drink, fading before you can feel its warmth. Or even, perhaps, like the blur of a photo taken in motion, capturing something you can't quite name. The Cold Nebula is an enigma, not asking to be solved. Just watched. You pick up the book again, its brittle pages creaking like dry leaves. A new note catches your eye. The mist doesn't lie, but it doesn't tell the truth either. It's the same shaky handwriting as the note, written in a rush, as if time was running out. You flip through, finding only lines, like someone tried to draw their own fear. In the 17th century, astronomers used rough sketches to map constellations, trusting crooked lines to make sense of chaos. Here, the mist is your map, and it doesn't like being drawn. Scholars still debate whether early space probes caught signals from nebulas like this, or if the data was just noise. You've heard of the pilgrims on Callisto. They believed the cracks in the moon's ice were messages from the gods, etched in code. They spent years deciphering them, convinced they'd find answers. Most froze to death, but the cracks remain, silent. You wonder if the mist is like that, a code nobody can read. You stand, the floor cold against your bare feet. The ship is quiet, except for the radio's hum, now mimicking a slow breath, trying to compose a symphony. Are you? You mutter, with a faint smile. The mist doesn't answer, but it swirls, as if playing along. You try the controls, but the ship stays still, or so the sensors claim. Great, you think, rolling your eyes. Why move when you can just sit here forever? The mist pulses, as if amused by your frustration. That watch you found, you pull it out, spin it between your fingers. Still at 3:47, but you swear you heard a tick this time. The mist outside forms spirals, like smoke from an incense stick nobody lit. You feel it's waiting, but for what? Like, subscribe, and drop a comment. Where are you drifting in the universe today? Let's settle in for this tranquil journey through the stars. You stand slowly, the cold of the metal floor biting at your feet like a quiet reminder that you're nowhere near home. The mist outside twists, deliberate, like smoke curling from a fire nobody bothered to tend. It's like the glow of a lantern through a misty curtain, revealing just enough to keep you curious. Or maybe it's like the reflection of distant lights on a frozen river, shimmering without reason. Or even, perhaps, like the blur of a watercolor left in the rain, colors bleeding into something you can't name. The Cold Nebula feels alive, not in a way you understand, but like it has a pulse without a heart. You pull the rusty key from your pocket, spinning it between your fingers. It's cold, as if it's been forgotten in some corner of the ship for years. You hold it up, catching a faint glint in the dim light. In the 16th century, Spanish navigators carried keys to secret chests, hiding maps that promised treasure. Here, you're not sure if this key opens anything or if it's just another weight to carry. Scholars still debate whether early space travelers left such objects as route markers or simply as relics of a home they'd never see again. You've heard of the sculptors of Ceres. They carved figures into asteroids, believing the rocks held the souls of the lost. Each statue was a prayer, a plea to guide the dead home. No one knows if it worked, but the asteroids still drift, etched with faces nobody recognizes. You slip the key back into your pocket, next to the watch and the note. They're starting to feel like a collection of questions without answers. You wander to a small side hatch, its glass fogged with condensation. You wipe it with your sleeve, but the mist outside reveals nothing new, just more haze, more shadows, more mysteries. You're terrible at small talk, you mutter, with a crooked smile, as if the mist might take offense. The radio hisses, almost in reply, like a coworker grumbling without saying anything useful. You shrug. At least the mist is consistent like the star charts that got you here. The screen flashes a new message. Signal detected. You raise an eyebrow. Now you want to talk. You say, with a dry laugh. The signal vanishes before you can trace it, like a stranger waving then turning a corner. The mist outside swirls, forming rings that remind you of soap bubbles floating on a windless day. It's like trying to read a letter in a language you never learned. You try the controls, but the ship stays still. Of course, you think, rolling your eyes, why make my life easy? That note in your pocket. You unfold it again. Don't trust the mist. The words feel like a challenge now, like a dare you're too stubborn to back down from. The mist forms shapes, maybe faces, maybe just illusions like shadows dancing on a wall by candlelight. You wonder if it's trying to tell you something, or if it's just the boredom playing tricks. Like, subscribe, and drop a comment. Where are you floating in the cosmos today? Let's slow down and drift together in this journey through the infinite void. You lean against the cockpit wall, the cold metal pressing into your back like a nudge to stay awake. The mist outside is a silent show, swirling like dust caught in a beam of sunlight through an old window. It's like the flicker of a candle reflected in a cracked mirror, fragmented but whole. Or maybe it's like the steam rising from a cup of coffee you forgot to drink, fading before you can feel its warmth. Or even, perhaps, like the blur of a photo taken in a hurry, capturing something you can't quite name. The Cold Nebula is a secret, not one that begs to be solved, but one that asks to be watched. You pull the key from your pocket, rolling it between your fingers. It's small, but it feels heavy, like it carries a story it's not ready to tell. You hold it to the light, the metal catching a faint shimmer, as if it's shy about its own secrets. In the 19th century, ship captains kept keys to their logbooks, guarding secrets they never shared. Here, you wonder if this key unlocks something on the ship or if it's just another riddle the mist tossed your way. Scholars still debate whether early space explorers used physical keys or if everything was digital by then. You've heard of the dreamers of Europa, They believed the ocean beneath the moon's ice held visions of the future. They fished metal scraps from the depths, calling them keys to destiny. No one knows if they found anything but junk, but the dreamers never stopped searching. You slip the key back, feeling the watch and note beside it. Your collection of mysteries is growing heavy. You check the radio again. The static has a rhythm, now, like a slow breath, trying to write a song. Are you mutter, with a faint grin. The mist doesn't reply, but it swirls, as if teasing you back. You try the controls, but the ship stays put, or so the sensors say. Stat of the art, you murmur with a wry smile. Could at least pretend it's trying. The mist pulses, as if it's enjoying your frustration. That watch in your pocket. You pull it out, spin it in your hand. Still at 3:47, you swear. You heard a tick this time, but when you listen closer, it's just the radio's hiss. The mist outside forms spirals, like smoke from a cigar nobody smoked. It's like trying to read handwriting from someone who never learned to write. You feel the mist is waiting for something, but what? Like, subscribe, and drop a comment. Where are you drifting in the universe today? Let's settle in for this tranquil journey through the stars. You slump against the cockpit wall, the metal's chill seeping into your back, like a quiet reminder that you're adrift in nowhere. The mist outside twists, slow and deliberate, like dust floating in a forgotten attic, catching light in shades of cobalt and gray. It's like the glow of a laptop screen in the dead of night, when you're too tired to sleep but too restless to stop. Or maybe it's like the reflection of city lights on a rain-slicked window, blurring into something you almost recognize, or even, perhaps, like the smudge of an unfinished sketch, hinting at a shape you'll never fully see. The Cold Nebula isn't just a place, it's a mirror, showing not what you see, but what you feel. You pull the book from the shelf again, its brittle pages crackling like dry leaves underfoot. A new note catches your eye. The mist knows you better than you know yourself. The handwriting is the same shaky, rushed, like it was written by someone running out of time. You flip forward, but find only scribbles, jagged lines as if someone tried to draw their own doubts. In the 17th century, alchemists believed the cosmos hid secrets in its patterns, messages encoded in the stars. Here, the mist is its own code, and you don't have the key to crack it. Scholars still debate whether early space astronomers saw nebulas as portals or just obstacles. You've heard of the oracles of Enceladus. They carved symbols into the moon's frozen geysers, believing the ice held visions of the past. The symbols melted with the next eruption, but the oracles swore the answers were there, hidden in the frost. You closed the book, the words lingering like a half-remembered dream. The mist knows you. Is that true, or just another trick of the void? You step to the window, the glass cold against your palm. The mist forms spirals, like smoke from an incense stick nobody lit. Trying to impress me now, you mutter, with a crooked smile. The radio hisses, almost in rhythm, like it's trying to keep up but doesn't care enough. You check the sensors, nothing top-notch tech, you say, with a dry laugh. Could at least pretend it's useful. The mist pulses, as if it's amused by your complaints. That key in your pocket. You pull it out, roll it between your fingers. It's small, but it feels like it carries a secret you're not ready to face. The watch, still stuck at 3:47, sits heavy beside the note. You unfold the paper. Don't trust the mist. The words stare back, like advice from someone who knows you too well. The mist outside shapes faces, or maybe just shadows, like clouds on a day with no sun. You wonder if it's trying to speak, or if you're just seeing what you want to see. Like, subscribe, and drop a comment. Where are you floating in the cosmos today? Let's slow down and drift together in this journey through the infinite. Void, ... You sink to the floor, back against the panel. The cold metal biting through your clothes like a nudge to stay sharp. The mist outside is a quiet spectacle, swirling like smoke from a cigar left to burn out, spreading in hues of violet and silver. It's like the glow of a flashlight in a cave, showing just enough to keep you guessing. Or maybe it's like the reflection of a neon sign on a wet street, flickering without reason. Or even, perhaps, like the blur of a memory you swear you lived but can't prove. The Cold Nebula is an invitation to get lost, and you're not sure if you want to take it. You pull the watch from your pocket, its cracked face glinting in the dim light. Still at 3:47, you hold it to your ear, hoping for a tick that never comes. Nothing, just the radio's hiss, like a friend who talks without saying anything. Great, you mutter, with a wry grin. A watch that doesn't tick, and a ship that doesn't move, living the dream. The mist pulses, as if it's laughing at your sarcasm, or maybe just ignoring you. You spot a scrap of paper on the floor, crumpled, like someone tossed it and then changed their mind. It's a rough sketch of a ship surrounded by mist, with a scrawl in the corner. She sees you. The handwriting matches the note, of course, always the same. In the 18th century, cartographers drew sea monsters on maps, warnings of unknown dangers. Here, the mist is your monster, but it doesn't seem to want to eat you. Just watch. Scholars still debate whether early space explorers reported visions like this, or if isolation just played tricks on their minds. You've heard of the storytellers of Pluto. They etched tales into ice crystals, letting them melt under the faint sun, believing the stories would travel the cosmos. No one knows if anyone found those tales, but the ice still glints on Pluto's plains. You tuck the sketch with the note, key, and watch. Your collection of riddles is getting heavy. You glance at the mist again. It forms rings, like soap bubbles drifting on a still day. Trying to write a novel now? You ask, with a low chuckle. The radio hisses, like it's trying to match your wit, but falling short. You try the sensors, but they're silent, like a map pointing nowhere. Cutting-edge ship, you murmur, rolling your eyes. Could at least pretend it knows where it's going. The mist swirls, as if it's enjoying your frustration. That note you carry. You unfold it. Read it again. Don't trust the mist. It's like a mantra now, but you're not sure if you believe it, or just like the sound of it. The mist outside pulses, like the heartbeat of something far bigger than you. Like, subscribe, and drop a comment. Where are you drifting in the universe? Today, let's settle in for this tranquil journey through the stars. You rise slowly, your legs heavy as if the cold nebula's void has seeped into your bones. The mist outside churns, deliberate, like smoke curling from a candle nobody bothered to light, spreading in shades of amethyst and silver. It's like the glow of a lantern through a foggy forest, guiding without showing the path. Or maybe it's like the reflection of distant lights on a still lake, trembling for no reason. Or even, perhaps, like the blur of a dream you can't quite recall, slipping through your fingers like sand. The mist isn't just there. It's a presence, like someone who stays silent but never leaves the room. You pull the rusty key from your pocket, rolling it between your fingers. The metal's cold, as if it's been forgotten in some dark corner of the ship for years. You hold it up, catching a shy glint in the dim light. In the 16th century, Spanish navigators carried keys to locked chests, hiding maps to promised riches. Here, you're not sure if this key opens anything or if it's just another piece of someone else's past. Scholars still debate whether early space travelers left such objects as markers or merely as relics of a home they'd never see again. You've heard of the sculptors of Ceres. They carved figures into asteroids, believing the rocks held the souls of the lost. Each statue was a prayer to guide the dead home. No one knows if it worked, but the asteroids still drift, etched with faces nobody knows. You slip the key back, next to the watch, and note, they feel like a collection of questions you're not sure you want answered. You step to a small hatch, its glass fogged with condensation. You wipe it clean, but the mist outside shows nothing new, just more haze, more shadows, more mysteries. You're awful at conversation. You mutter, with a wry grin, as if the mist might care. The radio hisses, almost in response, like a co-worker mumbling without saying anything useful. You shrug, At least the mist is consistent and like the star charts that landed you here. The screen flickers with a faint message. Weak signal detected. You snort. Now you're chatty. You say, with a dry laugh. The signal fades before you can track it, like a stranger waving then disappearing around a corner. The mist swirls, forming rings like soap bubbles on a windless day. It's like trying to read a letter in a language you never learned. You try the controls, but the ship stays still. Of course, you think, rolling your eyes, why make my life easy? That sketch you found, with she sees you. You unfold it, trace the jagged lines. The ship in the drawing looks like yours, but there's something off, a shadow in the mist that shouldn't be there. The mist outside pulses, like the heartbeat of something vast, trying to spook me, or just showing off. You ask, with a half smile. The radio hisses, as if it's in on the joke or maybe laughing at you. Like, subscribe, and drop a comment. Where are you floating in the cosmos today? Let's slow down and drift together in this journey through the infinite void. ... You lean against the cockpit wall, the cold metal pressing into your neck like a reminder you're far from anywhere warm. The mist outside is a silent show, swirling like dust caught in a beam of sunlight through a dusty window. It's like the glow of a campfire seen through a thick forest, warm but distant. Or maybe it's like the steam rising from a coffee cup you forgot to drink, fading before you can feel its heat. Or even, perhaps, like the blur of a photo taken from a moving train, capturing something you'll never name. The Cold Nebula is a secret that doesn't need solving, only watching. You pull the watch from your pocket, its cracked face glinting faintly. Still at 3:47, you hold it to your ear, hoping for a tick that never comes. Nothing. Just the radio's hiss, like a friend who talks without saying much. Great, you mutter, with a wry smile. A watch that doesn't tick, and a ship that doesn't move. I'm living the dream. The mist pulses, as if it's chuckling at your sarcasm, or maybe it's just ignoring you. You find a folded note tucked inside the book, hidden like a secret someone forgot to keep. The mist doesn't let you go. The handwriting's the same, shaky, like it was written in a hurry or fear. In the 19th century, sailors spoke of seas that held ships, invisible currents defying logic. Here, the mist is your current, but it doesn't seem to trap. It just invites you to stay. Scholars still debate whether early space probes detected nebulas altering trajectories, or if the deviations were just human error. You've heard of the poets of Titan. They wrote verses in methane clouds with lasers, letting the winds carry them away, believing the cosmos would preserve their words. No one knows if anyone read them, but the clouds still dance, carrying silence. You tuck the note with the key, watch, and first note. Your collection feels heavier now. You glance at the mist again. It forms rings, like smoke from a cigar nobody smoked. Getting artistic now, you ask, with a low chuckle. The radio hisses, like it's trying to keep up with your wit but falling short. You try the sensors, but they're silent, like a map pointing nowhere. Start of the art, you murmur, with a wry grin. Could at least pretend it has a plan. The mist swirls, as if it's enjoying your complaints. That note you carry, you unfold it again. Don't trust the mist. It feels like a mantra. Now, but you're not sure if you believe it, or just like how it sounds. The mist outside pulses, like the heartbeat of something far bigger than you. Like, subscribe, and drop a comment. Where are you drifting in the universe today? Let's settle in for this tranquil journey through the stars. You sink into the pilot's chair, the worn leather creaking like an old storyteller spinning tales nobody asked for. The mist outside dances, slow and deliberate, like smoke curling from an incense stick nobody lit, spreading in shades of sapphire and silver. It's like the glow of a lantern through a curtain of fog, hinting at something just out of reach. Or maybe it's like the reflection of distant lights on a frozen lake, trembling with a cold you can almost feel. Or even, perhaps, like the blur of an oil painting, colors melting into something you can't quite name. The Cold Nebula is an invitation. like a stranger offering you a seat but not a smile. You pull the crumpled note from your pocket, unfolding it carefully, as if it might crumble under your touch. Don't trust the mist. The words are familiar now, but they still stop you, like a warning you ignore out of stubbornness. You read it aloud, and your voice feels strange, muffled, as if the mist is swallowing the sound. Solid advice, you mutter, with a dry chuckle, because trusting clouds was definitely my plan. The radio hisses softly, like it's laughing or maybe just coughing, hard to tell. You spot something new in the corner of the cockpit, half hidden under a tangle of cables. A small mirror, cracked at the edge, like someone dropped it and walked away. You hold it up, and your reflection feels off. It's not just the exhaustion in your eyes, it's the light, as if the mist is seeping into you. In the 17th century, astrologers used mirrors to capture starlight, believing they could glimpse the future. Here, the mirror shows only the mist, and you're not sure if that's an answer or a question. Scholars still debate whether early space explorers saw strange reflections in their ships, or if isolation just warped their minds. You've heard of the Watchers of Ganymede. They polished ice into mirrors, believing they could see the past, reflected in them. They spent nights staring, waiting for visions that never came. The mirrors melted over time, but the watchers never stopped. You slip the mirror into your pocket, next to the key, watch, and note. Your collection feels like a burden now. You glance at the mist again. It forms patterns, like letters from an alphabet nobody taught you. Writing a novel now? You ask, with a wry smile. The radio hisses, like it's trying to match your sarcasm but missing the mark. You try the controls, but the ship stays still, like a friend who'd rather stay put than follow you. Reliable ship, you murmur, rolling your eyes. Clip. At least pretend it's got somewhere to be. The mist pulses, like it's enjoying your frustration. That sketch that says she sees you, you unfold it, trace the jagged lines. The ship looks like yours, but there's a shadow in the mist that doesn't belong. The mist outside swirls, like the heartbeat of something vast. Trying to spook me or just showing off? You ask, with a half grin. The radio hisses, as if it's in on the joke or maybe laughing at you. Like, subscribe, and drop a comment. Where are you floating in the cosmos today? Let's slow down and drift together in this journey through the infinite void. You wander down the ship's narrow corridor, the low hum of the systems buzzing like a heart that doesn't know how to stop. The mist outside is a hypnotic show, swirling like dust caught in a beam of moonlight through an old window. It's like the flicker of a candle reflected in a still lake, trembling with the faintest ripple. Or maybe it's like the steam rising from a teacup you forgot to drink, fading before you can feel its warmth. Or even, perhaps, like the blur of an old photograph, where faces feel familiar but names slip away. The Cold Nebula is a secret that doesn't want solving, only watching. You pulled the cracked mirror from your pocket, holding it to the faint light. Your reflection is hazy, like the mist has crept into the glass. You blink, and for a moment, you swear you see something else, a face that's not yours, or maybe just a shadow. In the 18th century, sailors used mirrors to signal between ships, flashing light through the fog. Here, your mirror signals nothing, just reflects the void. Scholars still debate whether early space explorers saw odd reflections in their ships, or if the isolation just played tricks on their minds. You've heard of the dreamers of Callisto. They believed the reflections in the moon's ice showed hidden truths, glimpses of worlds they'd never seen. They spent days polishing the ice, chasing answers. The ice always melted, but they kept trying. You slip the mirror back, feeling the key, watch, and note in your pocket. They're like pieces of a puzzle you don't know how to solve. You return to the cockpit, where the screen blinks with an old message. Signal lost. Perfect timing, you mutter, with a crooked smile, because I was definitely expecting a call. The radio hisses, like it's chuckling at your sarcasm or maybe just tired of trying. The mist forms spirals, like smoke from a cigar nobody smoked. You're a lousy host, you say, with a dry laugh. The mist doesn't answer, but it pulses, like it's listening. That note that says the mist doesn't let you go. You unfold it, read it again, feeling the words settle in your chest like a weight. The mist outside forms rings, like soap bubbles drifting on a still day. You wonder if it's trying to trap you, or if you're the one who doesn't want to leave. Like, subscribe, and drop a comment. Where are you drifting in the universe today? Let's settle in for this tranquil journey through the stars. You ease into the pilot's chair, the worn leather creaking like a sigh from a long-forgotten friend. The mist outside is a slow spectacle, swirling like dust caught in a beam of starlight, spreading in hues of indigo and silver. It's like the glow of a lantern piercing a foggy forest, guiding without revealing the path. Or maybe it's like the steam rising from a teacup you forgot to sip, fading into the air. Or even, perhaps, like the blur of an old photograph, its edges soft. With stories you feel more than know. The Cold Nebula is a gentle embrace, not clinging, just holding. As if it knows you need room to breathe. You pull the cracked mirror from your pocket, holding it carefully, like it might crumble in your hands. Your reflection is murky, your face blending with the mist, as if you're part of the same thing. In the 19th century, romantic poets gazed into mirrors for inspiration, believing they reflected the soul. Here, the mirror shows only the mist, and you wonder if it's reflecting something inside you. Scholars still debate whether early space travelers saw their fears projected in their ship's windows, or if the cosmos truly spoke to them. You've heard of the storytellers of Eris. They carved poems into ice crystals, letting them drift in the void, believing the universe would keep them forever. No one ever found those crystals, but they say the void still whispers their verses. You slip the mirror back, feeling the key, watch, and note in your pocket. They're like fragments of a dream you're not sure you want to wake from. You glance at the mist. It forms soft rings, like soap bubbles floating on a windless day. Never get tired, do you? You murmur. With a wry grin, the radio hisses softly, like it's trying to keep up but lacks the energy. You try the controls, but the ship stays still, like a friend too comfortable to move. Reliable ship, you say, with a dry chuckle. Always ready to let me down. The mist pulses, as if it's laughing with you or maybe just breathing. That note that says don't trust the mist. You unfold it, read it one last time, but it feels less like a warning now, more like a suggestion. The mist outside is a calm sea, rippling gently, as if inviting you to close your eyes. You feel the weight of exhaustion, not heavy, but warm, like a blanket settling over you. Like, subscribe, and drop a comment. Where are you floating in the cosmos today? Let's settle in for this tranquil journey through the stars. You lean back, eyes half closed, the mist outside now just a soft blur, like a painting left unfinished. The ship's hum is a distant murmur, like rain on a rooftop far away. You pull out the watch, key, note, and mirror, laying them before you like pieces of a game you never learned to play. Each feels like a fragment of you or maybe someone who drifted here before, asking the same questions. The Cold Nebula doesn't answer, but it doesn't demand anything either. It's just there, like a friend who knows silence is enough. You close your eyes, and the mist feels closer, not as a threat, but as a lullaby. It's like the sway of a hammock on a warm day, or the sound of waves lapping a shore you'll never see. You're not trying to escape anymore. Maybe you never were. The mist is a temporary home, a place where time doesn't rush, where questions don't need answers. Your breath slows, your heart matching the mist's gentle pulse. The radio hisses one last time, like a whispered goodbye, then falls silent. You drift, not in the ship, but somewhere deeper, where the mist and you are one. The stars, hidden, flicker like memories you don't need to recall. The Cold Nebula holds you, soft, like a parent who knows you need rest. As you slip into sleep, the universe seems to whisper, "It's okay, you can rest now." The mist will keep your stories, your doubts, your silences, and maybe, just maybe, tomorrow you'll find the way. Or maybe the way is this, drifting, dreaming, being. Like, subscribe, and drop a comment. Where are you drifting in the cosmos today? Close your eyes, breathe deep, and let the cosmic journey carry you away. You stir, caught in that soft haze where waking and dreaming blur, as if the cold nebula itself has woven its mist into your thoughts. The mist outside swirls, gentle as dust dancing in the glow of a street lamp on a quiet night, its hues of indigo and silver melting into each other like watercolors left to bleed. It's like the haze of a foggy dawn, when the world feels muffled, wrapped in a silence that holds secrets close. Or maybe it's like the steam curling from a kettle you forgot to turn off, rising with a sigh that carries no weight. Or even, perhaps, like the blur of a half-remembered song, its melody lingering but the lyrics lost to the void. The nebula is no longer a stranger. It's a companion, silent but knowing, cradling your questions as gently as you cradle your breath. You shift in the pilot's chair, the leather creaking like an old friend settling into a story told too many times. Your pocket is heavy with relics: the key, watch, note, mirror, and compass, each a fragment of a puzzle you're not sure you want to solve. You pull out the note, its edges frayed from countless unfoldings. Don't trust the mist. You chuckle, low and dry, the sound swallowed by the ship's hum. Bit late for that wisdom, you mutter, as if the mist might overhear and take offense. The radio hisses, a faint laugh in the static, like it's in on the joke or maybe just weary of your voice. The mist pulses outside, as if it's chuckling too, or perhaps just breathing in sync with the universe's slow heartbeat. You reach for the compass, its needle spinning lazily, pointing to nowhere and everywhere at once. The metal is warm, as if it's been waiting for you, holding a secret it's not ready to spill. You turn it in your hand, watching the needle dance, aimless yet purposeful, like a child spinning in circles, just for the joy of it. In the 18th century, sailors trusted compasses to navigate uncharted seas. Their trembling needles a lifeline through storms and fog. Here, this compass is either broken or brutally honest, admitting there's no path to find in the nebula haze. Scholars still debate whether early spacefarers carried such relics for navigation or as talismans, clinging to the comfort of Earth's old ways. You've heard of the wanderers of Charon, Pluto's moon. They etched compasses into the icy crust, believing the directions would guide lost souls through the void to some cosmic home. The ice cracked, swallowing their carvings, but they kept etching, convinced the universe was listening. No one knows if those souls found their way, but Charon's ice still glints under faint starlight, silent and stubborn. You slip the compass back into your pocket, next to the key, watch, note, and mirror. Your collection is a museum of mysteries now, each piece a fragment of a story you're still writing. Whether you mean to or not, you stand and drift to the window, the glass cool against your palm, like a lake's surface in early spring. The mist forms gentle waves, like ripples on a pond after a pebble's been tossed, each one catching flecks of starlight. It's hypnotic, like watching rain streak down a car window on a long, aimless drive. Getting all poetic now, aren't you? You murmur with a wry grin, as if the mist might care about your commentary. The screen flickers behind you, showing nothing but static, like a TV left on after the broadcast ends. Top-notch tech, you say, rolling your eyes. Really, earning its keep out here. The mist pulses, as if it's amused by your sarcasm. Or maybe it's just breathing, indifferent to your complaints. You pull the mirror from your pocket, its cracked surface catching the dim light like a broken promise. Your reflection is hazy, your face blending with the mist, as if you're dissolving into it. You blink, and for a moment, you see something else: a shadow, a flicker, maybe a face that's not yours. You shake your head, laughing softly. Great, now I'm seeing ghosts, you mutter. Perfect addition to my cosmic vacation. The radio hisses, like it's trying to keep up with your wit but lacks the energy. The mist outside forms spirals, like smoke from an incense stick nobody lit. Curling through the air with no destination. You wander back to the cockpit, sinking into the chair. The creak of the leather, a familiar comfort, like an old friend who listens without judging. The note that says the mist doesn't let you go feels heavier now, like it's not just words but a truth sinking into your bones. You unfold it, trace the shaky handwriting, its loops and tremors like a map to nowhere. It's like a letter from someone who knew you'd end up here, drifting in a nebula that doesn't care if you stay or leave. The key, watch, mirror, and compass, they're all pieces of a story you're not sure you're ready to finish. The mist doesn't demand answers though, it just waits, patient, like a parent watching a child learn to walk. You lean toward the panel, where a faint light pulses, not from the screen but from a small, forgotten button. You press it, half expecting nothing, and a soft hum fills the cabinet, the ship's usual drone, but something warmer, like the crackle of a fire in a distant memory. The mist outside shifts, forming patterns that look like letters, or maybe just shapes, like clouds you'd stare at on a lazy Earth afternoon. It's like trying to read a book through a fogged-up window, the words teasing but never clear. Trying to write a novel now, you murmur with a dry chuckle. The mist doesn't answer, but it swirls, as if it's playing along, or maybe just ignoring you. You pull the watch from your pocket, its cracked face glinting faintly, still stuck at 3:47. You hold it to your ear, hoping for a tick that never comes. Nothing, just the soft hum of the ship, like a lullaby from a world you left behind. You've heard of the dreamers of Triton. They carved clocks into the moon's nitrogen ice, believing time could be frozen in the frost, a way to hold on to moments the universe forgot. The ice melted, but they kept carving, convinced the clocks would tick again. No one knows if they ever did, but Triton's planes still shimmer, silent and cold. You slip the watch back, feeling the weight of your collection key, note, mirror, compass like anchors to a life you're not sure is yours. You wander to a small storage nook, where a dusty panel catches your eye. You pry it open, revealing a tiny logbook, its pages brittle and yellowed, like letters from a forgotten pen pal. You flip through, finding more of that shaky handwriting. The mist keeps what you give it. The words hit like a quiet truth, like finding a note you wrote to yourself years ago. You turn the page, and there's a drawing, a spiral, not unlike the mist outside, with a single word scratched beneath it. Stay. You close the book, your fingers lingering on the cover, as if it might whisper more if you wait long enough. The mist outside forms gentle arcs, like the curve of a smile you can't quite see. It's like watching the glow of a distant city through a rainy window, lights blurring into something soft and warm. You lean back in the chair, the ship's hum, a steady pulse, like the sound of waves lapping at a shore you'll never walk. The mist isn't a trap, you realize. It's a cradle, rocking you gently, asking nothing but your presence. You pull out the key, its rusty edges catching the light. You wonder if it unlocks something on the shipper door. A secret, if it's just another piece of the nebula's game. You stand again, drawn back to the window. The mist is a sea now, rolling in slow waves, each one catching starlight like diamonds scattered on velvet. It's like scrolling through an old photo album on your phone, each image fading before you can hold it. You press your hand to the glass, feeling the cold, and the mist seems to press back, not with force, but with a quiet invitation. You don't feel alone anymore, though you're not sure why. Maybe the mist is company enough, or maybe it's been you all along, talking to yourself in the silence. You return to the panel, where the compass needle still spins, lazy and aimless. You smile, faint and wry. You're as lost as I am. You murmur, as if it might answer. The radio hisses, like it's trying to agree but doesn't know how. The screen blinks with a faint message. No destination detected. Figures, you say, with a dry laugh. Why go anywhere when you've got all this? The mist swirls, as if it's nodding, or maybe just existing, unbothered by your sarcasm. You sink back into the chair, the leather creaking like a sigh. The note, the key, the watch, the mirror, the compass, they're not just objects anymore. They're pieces of you, or maybe pieces of someone who drifted here before, leaving their story for you to find. The mist doesn't judge, doesn't rush, doesn't demand. It just holds you, soft and endless, like a parent who knows you need rest. Your eyes grow heavy, your breath slowing to match the nebula's pulse. The ship's hum is a lullaby now, like rain on a distant roof, steady and soothing. The mist swirls, a gentle sea of violet and silver, wrapping you in its quiet embrace. The stars, hidden beyond, flicker like memories you don't need to chase. You're not fighting anymore. Maybe you never were. The nebula is a home, not forever, but for now, a place where time pauses, where questions can wait. The radio hisses, one last time, a soft goodnight, then falls silent. You drift, not just in the ship, but somewhere deeper, where the mist and you are one. The universe hums softly. It's okay. Rest now. The mist will keep your stories, your silences, your dreams. And maybe, just maybe, tomorrow you'll find a path. Or maybe the path is this: drifting, dreaming, being. Like, subscribe, and drop a comment. Where are you floating in the cosmos today? Close your eyes, breathe deep, and let the cosmic journey carry you away.